Good morning. Top of the morning to you, 6:42 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Well, that's a deep subject. Well, today, as the sun rises in the east, we're going to look at Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 versus Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 Green Label, Black Label, Green Label, Black Label, Green Label. Viewers, come out to play. Okay. When did the Green Label debut? This I do not know. The Jack Daniel's website does not indicate such a thing. So I can't say. I do know that at one time Jack Daniel's, the Black Label was 90 proof, okay? But they began to lower the alcohol by volume in 1987, and it's now 80 proof. So they slowly brought it down to 80 proof. So there used to be a difference in proof: 90 proof Black Label, 80 proof green. Now it's 80 and 80. What does the company say about the Green Label? Well, if you look at their list and it says our products, they'll list Old Number 7, Gentleman Jack, Sinatra Select, Single Barrel Collection, Tennessee Honey, and Tennessee Fire Green. So then you click, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So you click on frequently asked questions. And it says, where can I obtain food and drink recipes using Jack Daniel's? What are the calories? Scrolling down, 10 box and antique. Buy the stock. Is it a bourbon? Here we go. What is Jack Daniel's Green Label Tennessee whiskey? Answer: Jack Daniel's Green Label is a lighter, less mature whiskey with a lighter color and character. The barrels selected for Green Label tend to be on the lower floors and more toward the center of the warehouse, where the whiskey matures more slowly. Now notice they don't say are always on the lower floors. That's it. That's the information you get from. Sorry, but that's the truth. That's all they say. I saw a site, not an official site, okay, not an official link, but there was a site that said it's sold in only 5 states: New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Texas. Well, my Green Label, and you saw I did a review of it by itself. Mine was bought in Beaumont, Texas at Specs, the famous Specs liquor chain. You're not going to see liquor stores really in Louisiana. There are some, they exist, but they're rare, relatively rare, because should have tucked the shirt in. They're relatively rare because convenience stores and grocery stores and Walmart sells liquor. So why would you go to a liquor store when you could just be shopping at Walmart and buy deodorant, hairspray, some cereal, potatoes, and rum? You know what I mean? So it's just a common item here, and other states are stricter, like Texas. All right, so let's do it. I got the live chat up in case anybody wants to do that. Okay. I still have a lot of this left. I was talking to Dr. Dave, the beer professor, on alcohol eggs, and he was saying, oh, I had a Wild Turkey poster from the 1950s, I think. And he said, I used to drink that stuff. And I said, it was too strong for me. He said, yeah, me too. That's why I went to Jack. Well, this is the most popular whiskey in the world, I guess. Tennessee whiskey, not bourbon, as they choose not to call it a bourbon. Although legally it is considered that for international trade purposes. And it meets the specs for that, but that's okay. Tennessee whiskey, where's the cap? Oh, all right. Water, corn, barley, rye. Green label. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Daddy. Nice looking label, and it's some more old style. You see different lettering, different font, different information, different metals. Very interesting label. Different tactile feel on it. I got the labels. I got the tags below the glasses. G and B, green and black. Will I be able to tell them apart? This I do not know. Will I be able to tell which one's better? Yeah, if there's one that tastes better, I suppose. Maybe they'll be the same. Now it says here awarded the highest gold medals, and it gives you the 04, 05, 14, 54, and 81. I'm talking about 19, not the 20th century. 21st century, I mean to say, but the 20th century. Lem Motlow, proprietor, and so on. So really cool, really cool. Sort of like one of the coolest things I've gotten, aside from the Old Crow 1977 unopened bottle and the Wild Turkey 1983 unopened bottle. That was pretty cool, except when the cork was dry rotted and it fell off into the whiskey. That wasn't cool. All right. Let us see. Appearance. I didn't film exactly the same height, but pretty close. Maybe one is lighter than the other, but it's not an appreciable difference. They have some alcohol eggs on the glasses. Of course, growing up, Jack Daniels was as common as Kraft, Heinz, Chevrolet, and Dial soap, right? I mean, it's just like a common mass-produced product. Which is immaterial to me. Other people are very concerned about that, and they only will test out privately owned brands, which is fine too. In my case, I like to jump brand to brand, try everything out. When I refused to answer the frequently asked beer questions, and I made a video that was over 30 minutes long talking about why I refused to answer it. One of the things I brought up was how if I would have participated, I would have talked about how what got me into beer was just a general interest in brands, different brands and their histories. But I never did mention it, and I was saying, thank goodness I didn't get into it. But I said, if I had wanted to bring that up and participate, I would have discussed how branding got me into it. Brands. Maybe I should have majored in marketing in college or something. But I majored in social studies and history because I like history, and I like the history of the whiskeys and the brandies and the wine and the beer. And like William Kepley of North Carolina says, when you drink these beers and these whiskeys and these other things, you're drinking the history. That's even more so maybe than what's in the bottle in many cases. All right, well, I've mixed them up quite a bit, and I don't know which is which. So let's check out the aroma. Hope everybody's okay out there. They've had some terrible wrecks out here, but It's all day, all night. You hear these sirens. It's got that stereotypical 40%, 80 proof aroma. They just seem to have like a standard aroma as far as it concerns the alcohol. And I'm talking about whiskey, gin, and brandy. I mean, obviously they have different aromas because they're different products, but they have that, the alcohol presence seems to be very standard. And I guess 80% is that magic, 80 proof is that magic number that appeals to the vast majority of consumers. Lower than that, and they say it's watered down, which it is. You go higher and it's too strong or too harsh, as people say. Okay, so that smells nice. A little menthol, a little mint, a little dried fruits, dried wildflowers. Yeah, some vanilla, some oak. Just a standard whiskey smell. This one, not the same, not the same, not the same, not the same. Sweeter, more honey-like. Not so much mint, not so much menthol, not so much oak, not so much dried fruit or flowers. Maybe some more fruit, maybe more sugar, more fruit, more pale grain, almost like a pale ale, like the Sierra Nevada pale ale. In that sense, in that grain pale sense. Maybe this is the green, huh? They say it's lighter, huh? Seems lighter. Seems less bold. See any comments? Live chat? No. You mean everybody's not watching all this kind of stuff at 6:54 in the morning? Okay, there's definitely a corn note. Corn, you know. A Del Monte whole kernel corn situation. Obviously, there's no salt in this, but there's that corn, that whole kernel corn thing. Or let's say you got corn on the cob and you didn't add any salt, you just boiled it, and you get that. Yes, this is making me even more so want to get a bottle of that mellow corn, but my cabinet is so full, it's just so unworkable now. But that mellow corn, and William Kepley keeps telling mellow corn, mellow corn, mellow corn. I know that's a very famous sort of niche thing. A lot of hobbyists are into that mellow corn, but this is not going to be as corny as that, I guess. But that's the predominant thing going here. Some mint, some wood, like almost like toothpicks. And a burn, like not too harsh, not too mellow, just kind of like, sort of like saying, if you can hack it, join us, and if you can't, go drink your little smooth drinks. So it sort of has a man up approach, and that kind of fits Jack Daniel's marketing, like, you know, we're men, we're drinking. You can't handle it? Go drink your little frou-frou girly drinks. Of course, I may not say girly now because that might trigger people. It's a gender specific word. It's funny to watch these kind of like down home country products try to fit in with the this Leninist worldview today as perpetuated by politically correct, political correctness paradigm. Red Star over America type situation. Being that I don't do too well under the hammer and sickle, that I tend to make continuous politically incorrect comments, but that's just my anyway, going on. Gotta get off of that. Okay, yeah, it's loose lips sink ships. It's just mellower, less. I'm not gonna say it's blander. That wouldn't be a correct apprehension of it, but it's mellower, mild, softer. Yeah, softer, milder, less of everything. And sometimes less is more, right? I know less is more. So you're not getting cheated on alcohol. You're not getting cheated on aging. I don't believe they're both aged 4 years minimum because they don't have an age indicator on the bottle. And I did see, you learn by studying, right? So I was doing my studies the other day on the Tax and Trade Bureau website. And you could go to school because the documents there are profoundly dense. Old time charcoal mellowed, so they're both charcoal mellowed, drip through the charcoal tower thing. It says on guard until seal is broken, signed Jack Daniel. And I did not break that plastic seal until the day I opened it. They didn't have plastic seals in the 1860s and 70s. So mellow, mellow, mellow. Little sweet candy. It's strange. Candy sweetness. Candy sweetness. Candy sweetness. Which one's better? Okay, which one's better? There's the $5.35 question. Which one's better? There's a lot of character in that dang taste. There is a lot of character in that taste. You might say, yeah, but what if it's bad character? Ah, good point. So much more subtle. And then the candy thing. Well, let me say this to you. Yes, this one definitely has a more candy-like approach. It's weird. And I don't mean that in an overt sense, okay? It's definitely in a covert sense. If you're looking for candy, this ain't it. But if you're looking for something that has a candy undertaste, say, this might be something for you. I have something in my hair. Okay. Canada Dry Hands. Hello, Canada Dry Hands. I don't think I've spoken to you before. No, there's nothing in my hair. It's just the light. Trick of the light. I'm yet to taste a scotch that I don't hate. So you've not tried a scotch that you don't hate. So in other words, you hate every scotch. Guess what? I've never tried a scotch, period. 49 years old and never tried scotch. True story. But I have some in my fridge, in my cabinet. I have Piper Dean and 100 Pipers. Yep. So they're just waiting to be tasted. And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. All right, which one's better? Last call for alcohol, yeah, until 8 o'clock when I do this ale review. Nice. Nice, but not quite as nice. Harsher, a little more abrasive. So I think this one is the green because it's smoother, it's mellower, it's nicer. And I think this one is the black because it's got a little bit of a scouring pad feel to it. Oh, Canada Hand says, I mean, I love everyone. Oh, so he had written it incorrectly. Okay, so you love every Scotch. Okay, and I cannot say. People say Scotch. Oh, I hear people saying that sometimes. Scotch. Oh, that stuff's horrible. My father says that. Well, I've never had it, so I can't judge. I don't know. It must not be too horrible. Golly, you see Scotch everywhere. Everybody has Scotch. So I think this is the green label, and I think it's better. I think this is the black label, and it's good, but not as good. Now the reveal. Here we go. Here we are wrong. Just goes to show you. Now your counterpoint might be, you don't know much about whiskey, so who are you to judge? Good point. I'll be the first to admit that. And who am I to judge? Well, nobody in particular, no one important for sure. But I am a consumer, and I do buy products. I bought the black label, and I was given the green label as a present. Otherwise, I was going to pay for it. So I can judge whiskeys based on the fact that I can buy them and drink them just like any other consumer. Anybody else can get a bit, make a video if they want, and they can judge. That's who has to judge, the consumer, right? Somebody was saying in a comment a few weeks ago or days ago, who made you a judge? Or something like that. Who made you an expert? I said, I never claimed to be an expert. Why did you get the idea that I was an expert? I never made such a claim. I've never made any sort of claim like that. Who made me the judge? I made myself the judge. You can make yourself the judge. Every consumer in America is a judge. If you're buying it, then you can judge it. Products that don't have enough support fail. Look back there. See it? Budweiser. There it is. Budweiser American Ale. People judged it. It was found wanting, and it was discontinued. Many tickle you farson. It was weighed in the balances, and it was found wanting. See that other one? Budweiser. It's also been judged. That's why it's one of the, but the consumer finds that it's one of the most popular beers, adored beers on the planet. And its little brother, Bud Light, is the #1 beer on the planet. Okay, so that's how the important judging takes place. You say, no, it's all marketing. The only reason Bud Light is #1 in the world is marketing. You can't drink marketing, though. And they're not all the same. So if you drink Bud Light and then you put it up against Beer 30 Light or Milwaukee Classic Reserve Light, I mean, come on, 99 out of 100 people know it's higher than that. 999 out of 1,000 are going to say Bud Light is superior in every way above that, okay? And they're drinking Jack Daniels. I know there's the cachet and the rock and roll angle to it in the marketing and all that. I mean, I understand that. I'm not exactly ignorant of these things, but people drink it and they like it, okay? They like it. They like it. They like Crown Royal. I've never had Crown Royal, but I hear it's popular. I've heard that. I've heard people talk about it. No, it's popular because people like it, okay? So I was wrong. I thought the green label was the harsh one. Well, apparently it is. I'm saying it's harsh. And I said the black label was smoother. Well, anyway, they're not that different, honestly. There is differences, though. There are differences. I didn't say they're profound, but they're there. Would I go run out and seek the green label to taste the difference? Well, I had some people that were going to Beaumont anyway. I said, "Could you get me the green label?" They say, "Yeah, if we remember," and they did. Which one would I buy on an everyday basis? I mean, that question has no meaning to me because I don't buy whiskey on an everyday basis. I don't drink it on an everyday basis. I jump around to too many brands, so there's no bottles are gone. Cash me in 10 years, right? Cash me in 25, and we'll talk about the other bottles I bought. You know what I mean? I'm jumping around too many brands. I'm doing too many examinations. So it's sort of like a one-time thing. Anyway, so Black Label, the Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 that everybody knows and loves, and of course some people hate. The Green Label, it does seem harsher. Weird. The Old No. 7 that everybody has not seen, but you hear chatter about it. And I've heard about that for years, people talking about that. I was always fascinated by it. It's like, wow. Certainly is interesting to be able to try it, though. I got to say that. Okay, well, I failed. Big deal. No harm, no foul. You don't know until you do it, right? Now, Canada Dry Hand says all the scotch that I drink was single malt. I was reading an article about single malt scotch and whiskey. They were saying it's not as all single as you think. I didn't really understand what the author was saying, but he was saying a lot of those are blended too. I didn't understand what that meant. Some of you people out there might know. And then there was a whole thing in the article about, is single malt better than blended? And they were saying, no, it's just a different approach. And they were saying the blended scotch and the blended whiskeys, they're good. It's just like some kind of propaganda or something, like, or as certain people might say, fake news about it. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to set off a firestorm. I don't know. I've never really gotten into that single malt. If you think it's better and you like it, why not drink it? Hey, why not drink it? I have no issue with it. The Jack Daniel's is blended, but it's all straight whiskey blended. It's not, you know, an American blended whiskey, which is 80% grain neutral spirits and 20% straight whiskey. That's a whole different animal. But not to say it's an unpopular animal. It's very popular, and millions of people a day drink blended whiskey. And you know, I've tried a good deal of them. But anyway, I haven't tried the most famous blended whiskey though. I haven't tried the Seagram's 7 Crown, and I haven't tried the Seagram's it's like you're doing all these reviews, but you didn't try the most popular blended whiskeys. I know, I just keep putting it off. I need to get onto that though, really. It's like drinking beer and doing beer reviews, but you never reviewed Budweiser. I mean, there's a major hole in your reviewing regimen, you know, in your review channel. You haven't reviewed Budweiser. But, and then I'm going to end here. But it's funny that some people will say, I'm going to review Budweiser. And they preface their review with, I always did want to look at garbage like this. I'm glad you're open-minded. And then you watch the review. It's really not a review. I could name some channels right now. I'm not going to, but or it'll be something of that ilk, you know, like Miller High Life or Miller Genuine Draft, and they'll call it a review. It's not a review. It's a slam. It's a slam video. They're not reviewing the video. The whole thing is done in a cheeky manner. Like William Kepley says, it's done to get laughs and to score and to, what you say, build up street credibility in the craft beer community, the beer snob community. They're not reviewing it on its own merits. They're just slamming it to build up credibility in certain factions of the beer drinking community. That's not a review. And that probably is done with Jack Daniels. Because I've read some reviews where they're talking about airplane glue. It smells like airplane glue and some kind of industrial waste water. I mean, come on, man. I've drank a good amount of this bottle, and there's nothing. I've drank 20% of the bottle. Let's say, yeah. There's nothing in here that smells remotely like airplane glue, okay? There's nothing that smells like chemical waste. You start saying stuff like that, and I'm going to start taking your opinions with a grain of salt, and I'm not going to give them much credit. The green label is the same thing. There's nothing about airplane glue waste material. It's a well-made whiskey. I'm not a great fan so far of the Jack Daniels. I mean, the green or the black is not like setting my world on fire. It's not changing my worldview. I'm not adoring it. I could name one after the other whiskeys that are just as good, if not better than it. And some of them, I better not say that. Don't say it. I was going to talk about how things like Carstairs can rival it. But I mean, thank goodness I didn't go there, because that's just a 80-20 blend, and it's cheap. And whew, sometimes you can get in trouble if you don't catch yourself. But luckily I headed that off at the pass. But even though it's not something I'm adoring over here, to say that it's garbage and it's trash and you would rather give it to your worst enemy and you would dump the whole bottle out before you drank it, that is just a joke. Okay, I mean, come on, man. I'm going to sit here and drink this Jack Daniels green and black label and say it's garbage. And you're over there at your apartment because you live with your mama, and you're going to talk about it's trash. You couldn't make something like this on your best day with your home distilling. You know you couldn't make this. After you make a drink like that, you just know someone's getting clipped. You know what I mean? It's like, and people will say bad things about, like, I keep talking about Budweiser. Budweiser is this, Budweiser is that. You couldn't make a Budweiser to save your life, and you know it. Do it. You couldn't do it. It would have so many flaws. You would be laughed out of the building. But anyway, enough rant and rave around. Somebody asked me that the other day. He says, is this a rant and rave around? I'm unsubscribing. I was like, I think you totally misunderstood the whole point of this video. That was the frequently asked beer questions that I refused to participate in. He didn't watch the video, so he didn't get what I was getting at. I mean, so it was like, that was the thing about that video. You had to watch the whole thing to understand the whole point. Anyway, all right, this was very interesting, fascinating, and I think the next taste challenge, I'm almost certain the next taste challenge is going to be brandy. Yes, I've been neglecting that. There's a brandy video coming up, cognac brandy review. I've recorded it already, and then I'm going to take that and put it up against another one from France. It's not going to be a fair challenge because it's going to be a VS versus VSOP, but a lot of times those will shock you. You'll say, oh, there's no way, you know, but sometimes there's a way. It happens. The more expensive doesn't always beat the less expensive. So you can be shocked sometimes. All right, thank you for watching this video production. Everybody have a good